Hey guys, welcome back to another Hypixel Skyblock video. Today we're going to be ranking each class and saying how each class should be fixed in Hypixel Skyblock dungeons. So there are 5 classes in dungeons: Archer, Mage, Healer, Tank, Berserker. And now each class is clearly better than one another. I don't know if the admins meant to balance the classes or not, but I think they should have. And in this video, I'm going to rank all 5 of the classes currently as of floor 3 and tell you how each class can be fixed to be equal with one another. Now the number 5, obviously the worst class out of the 5, in my opinion, is the Archer. Now even if it's the worst class, it still has its pros. It has extremely high damage capabilities, it can attack from a range, and since it can attack from a range, it's hit a lot less. However, when you're attacking, it's pretty risky because you have really low defense and you literally cannot move. And you'll have basically no AoE attacks, so it's very hard to wipe out groups of mobs. And your pullback speed is very slow, but if you're bow spamming, which is one of the 2 methods of being an archer basically, that really doesn't matter. However, I have some ways that you could fix this. And I think you should implement both of these. They should allow movement while pulling your bow back, and they should make attack speed increase bow pullback speed, but only at a 50% efficiency, because, well, if you could pull your bow back 2 times faster, that would just be overpowered. Number 4, this is the 4th best class, in my opinion. It's not really that good. I do play this class. The Berserker. Pros, it's very fast, so it can dodge some attacks. It's rather tanky. However, there is a problem with this we'll get to later. It has pretty fast attacking speed. The cons: almost no natural healing. Even if you're tanky, you can still die pretty easily. No AoE or ranged damage, with the exception of the battle axe, which has way too long of a cooldown, and it does rather low damage. How to fix this? This one's very tough, as Berserker has so many things it could have fixed, but would make it sort of overpowered. I suggest a couple things, like a sword or charge ability, where you bash into the wall and do AoE damage, maybe like 1/2 your highest hit, with a 5-second cooldown. Lower cooldown on the battle axe would also make the battle axe viable, maybe like 3-second cooldown. Ragnarok does need a buff, as the mobs can get stuck in walls and die. They don't aggro very well, and they cause hit ticks, which is probably not meant. And they might have to increase lifesteal by a bit too, because there's almost no natural healing. If you do it too much, the class would become too OP though. The 3rd best class. These top 3 classes are all good, and I have no problems with them, but they're too good, and that is kind of a problem, if used in a certain way. Number 3 is the tank. The pros are extremely high defense and healing if used right. Allow your teammates to not die since you negate most of the damage, and can be used for almost every class except healer, since it has no downsides. And the reason you can't use it for healer is because you can't revive and you can't wish. The 2 best things about healer. The cons are it's just extremely expensive. That's the only thing about it. Like Perfect 12 is extremely expensive, but with the Dungeons update out, you can buy heavy armor, which isn't even that expensive. How to fix it. The class itself is pretty good. However, it can be OP if played as a mage. To fix this, I think I should give a downside of 50% less magic ability damage or something similar. When played right, it's pretty nice. Number 2 is the healer. The pros: heals all your teammates up, revives your teammates, can heal from a distance since you're almost taking no damage. The cheap class as well. Like the jellyfish pet is only like 3 mil at Epic. The Mender helmet's cheap, and well, adaptive is cheap. The cons are just rather low survivability in combat, since you can't fight back really well against the mobs, and you're not as tanky as if you were playing a tank. Now, how to fix this? This class is already balanced when played right. Has the same problem as the tank. It's super powerful when using a mage type build with healer class, simply so your teammates can revive on floor 3 or higher, which has no auto reviving. I think healer should also get negative 50% ability damage. Number 1, Mage. Pros. Everything imaginable. Pigment Sword can make you almost unkillable, as well as the Bonzo Staff deleting almost everything within a 100 block radius of you. It's extremely cheap. The class itself costs about as much as a Midas Jewel, which is like 20 mil. It gives you insane damage, and it can shred mini bosses or bosses since the Pigment Sword stats. Con, very overpowered, which really, is that a con? I mean, it's a con if you're playing any other class, but it's definitely not a con for the Mage. How to fix? I don't really know if Mage is fixable. It is just so overpowered, and Mage users, put down your pitchforks. Mage is simply too overpowered, and it needs a nerf. I don't think Mage should be directly nerfed too much, but more of a nerf by every other class getting a buff, and Mage is getting a slight nerf, because I want to see some diversity in a dang dungeon. Like, it's just Mage, 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 Mage there, Pigman, Bonzo, Frozen Scythe if you're poor. And I think every Mage item, not just Pigman and Bonzo, from here on out, needs a small cooldown, maybe like 1 to 3 seconds. And every Mage user's like, that defeats the point of Mage. I know, Mage is simply too OP. Now, I don't want to nerf it too much. I think Pigman should only have 1 second cooldown, and maybe Bonzo like a 3 second cooldown. I think all abilities definitely should have some cooldown, and a class passive, Mage should get like negative 50 to negative 65% defense, because mages are pulling like 1000 defense, even in Mage gear. And if you've never played an RPG style game before, Mage isn't really supposed to be tanky, nor is Archer, but Archer isn't tanky. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below telling me about what you thought about my rankings and giving me feedback on this new style of video. Please be sure to like and sub if you did like this video, and bye!